Welcome you all in lecture number 27 of Abstract Algebra MTL 6051. Up to lecture number 26 we have studied about ring, right? This is ring, commutative ring with unity. This one is commutative ring with unity. Okay, and we have studied about field. In this lecture we will going to discuss about ED, that is Euclidean domain. After this lecture we will discuss about principal integral domain, and after principal integral domain some domain that is UFD, unique factorization domain, and integral domain. Integral domain we already studied, right? This is the complete structure, right? See, this field we already studied, ring we know, right? This whole thing is the ring, and about ED we are going to discuss in this lecture. After Euclidean domain we will discuss what is principal integral domain, and in next lecture we will discuss about the unique factorization domain, and about the integral domain we already studied about the integral domain. Okay, so what is the structure? The structure is, this is field, this is ED, this is PID, this is UFD, this one is integral domain, this is commutative ring with unity, you can say unity, and this thing is the ring. Okay, so come to the Euclidean domain. Before going to Euclidean domain, let us discuss something. Euclidean domain we are going to define some function, something like the distance function. Like we know that distance function. What is distance function? Like mod function, modulus function. This is the modulus function, right? Norm in 2 dimension or higher dimension. This is norm function. Okay, and for example distance between 2 point D of xy is equal to dx minus y whole square, say something. Okay, so this is the distance function. If with any integral domain, suppose R is what? Integral domain. If R is integral domain, if with this R we associate some distance function, we call it D. For example, this is D, right? If with this integral domain we create an structure R and D, this structure is known as Euclidean domain. This structure is known as Euclidean domain if it satisfies following conditions, some conditions if it satisfies. But remember, before going to discuss Euclidean domain we have to clear everything about the integral domain, right? Since every Euclidean domain is integral domain. See, this is the Euclidean domain, this one is the Euclidean domain. Okay, then integral domain, right? Integral domain, right? ED is the subset of ID. What is ED? ED is the subset of ID. It means every ED is in ID, every ED is integral domain. Okay, so let us see first the definition of associate. See, R is commutative ring with unity. If R is commutative ring with unity, AB belongs to R is said to be associate if B is equal to UA. What is AB? AB is the element of R, and what is R? R is commutative ring with unity, right? R is commutative ring with unity. Then A is associate of B if B is equal to A into U. What is U? U is unit in R. Remember that? U is unit in R. Now, unit doesn't mean 1. Unit means inverse of U exists. Inverse of U exists in R. Inverse of U exists in R. Okay. Then these two elements said to be associate. Okay. Let us see again the definition. R is commutative ring with unity. Then AB belong to R is said to be associate to each other if B is equal to UA for some unit U in R. Right? Then if we define a relation is an associate of, for example, A tilde B, it means A is an associate of. This relation is nothing but is an associate of, is an equivalence relation. This relation tilde is equivalence relation. So see first, reflexive relation. Every element of R for all A belongs to R, A tilde A means A is associate of A. Why? Since A can be written as A is equal to 1 into A and 1 is unit. This relation is true for all A belong to R. Okay. Come to the symmetric relation. A is associate of B. Then by definition B is equal to UA. What is U? U is unit. B is equal to UA. And what is U? U is unit. It means inverse of U exists. So U inverse B, U inverse UA. What is U inverse B? This one is A, right? If U is unit, then U inverse is also unit. It means B associate. Okay, B associate of A. So symmetric relation is also true. Come to the transitive relation. A is associate of B, B is associate of C. If A is associate of B, then by definition B is equal to AU1 for some U1 in R. And C is equal to BU2 for some U2 in R. Okay. Then C is equal to, what is C? C is equal to BU2. And what is B? B is AU1. Then AU1 U2. Okay. Then this C is associate of A. Okay. And if C is associate of A, then A is associate of C by symmetry. Okay. Now see some example. 3i minus 4 and 4i plus 3. They are associate to each other? Yes, they are associate in Zi. Okay, we are talking about Zi. They are associate to each other since 3i minus 4 is equal to 4i plus 3 multiplied by I. Right? Solve it. 4 into I, that is 4i square plus 3i, and this is equal to 3i minus 4. Okay. So what is I? I is unit. But remember that this I must be unit in Zi. Right? If this I is not unit of Z, unit in Zi, then these two elements are not associated. But we know that units of Zi is 1, minus 1, I and minus I. And units of Z, what is units of Z? That is 1 and minus 1. Okay. So 2 is associate of 4. 2 is associate of 4? No. Why? Since 2 or 4 is equal to 2 into some U. What is U? U is 2. Right? And this is not unit. Unit of Z is only this one. Okay. Now come to the Euclidean domain. What is Euclidean domain? An integral domain. Remember that? An integral domain R. It's called ED. ED, that is the short form of Euclidean domain. Okay. An integral domain ID is said to be ED if for all A belongs to R and A does not equal to 0. If we define an integer, right, non-negative integer dA, such that this dA satisfies two conditions. Number one, d of A is less than or equal to d of AB. Okay, for all AB belongs to R and A does not equal to 0, B does not equal to 0. Okay, now second condition, D of R is less than D of B. But what is this? If B divide A by B, then where R is remainder, 0 is less than R is less than B. Okay, if this thing happen, then what is R? Either R equal to 0 or D of R is less than D of B. Either this condition is true or this condition is true. Okay, if any integral domain R associated with such type of function D, then this structure RD, remember that R with respect to plus and dot, this is integral domain, and if we add this thing D, then this structure, this algebraic structure is ED. If D satisfy these two conditions, for all AB belong to R, A not 0, B not 0, D of A is less than D of AB, first thing. And second one, for all AB belong to R, A does not equal to 0, B does not equal to 0. There exists T and R such that either R equal to 0, for A is equal to TB plus R equal to 0, or DR is less than DB. Okay. Then this structure RD is Euclidean domain if D satisfy these two conditions. Right? So if any integral domain we want to prove this is Euclidean domain or not, then we have to define a function D, and that D must satisfy the condition 1 and 2. Okay, so let us see one example. We know that Z plus and dot, set of integer with respect to addition and multiplication, is an integral domain. Okay, what is this? This is integral domain. Yes, if this is integral domain, Z plus dot is integral domain, then we have to show that this is ED. If we want to prove it ED, then we have to define a function D. Define a function D such that, let us define D such that D of A is equal to mod of A. Right? This modulus function D of A is equal to modulus of A. Okay. Now check whether this D satisfies these two conditions. Right? So first one, what is mod of A? Relation between mod A and mod AB. Mod A is always less than or equal to mod AB. Okay. For no, but this condition is true for A does not equal to 0 and B does not equal to 0. Yes, it is true. Right? And what is AB? AB is the element of Z. Okay. Mod of A is less than or equal to mod A into B. Okay. So what is mod A? This is DA. What is mod AB? This is DAB. It means DA is always less than or equal to DAB for all A, B belongs to Z, and A does not equal to 0, B does not equal to 0. Okay. Now come to the second condition. A is equal to B into T plus R. Okay, if we divide A by B, then quotient is T and remainder is R. But what is R? Remainder is always non-negative. So 0 is less than or equal to R is less than or equal to B. But see, what is B? B is element of Z. Then this B is either greater than 0 or this B is less than 0. So consider the case first. Let us assume B is greater than 0. If B is greater than 0, then A is equal to BT plus R. Then what is D of A? Sorry. What is D of R? If R does not equal to 0, If R does not equal to 0, then what is dr? Dr is less than dv, right? Since this relation is true, this is true. So what is dr? Dr is always less than dv. Since if R is less than b, R is integer, it is less than b, then mod of R is less than mod of b. Yes. Now come to the second case. If b is less than 0, if b is less than 0, then what is negative of b? Negative of b is greater than 0. Then again by Euclid result, there exists t and r such that a is equal to minus b into t plus r, right? If r does not equal to 0, then r is less than minus b. Yes, you can say r is less than minus b or r is less than mod of minus b. Okay. Then what is dr? Dr is less than d of minus b. Okay. So either b greater than 0 or b less than 0, right? The second result of the definition of Euclid domain, this is true. Okay. Hence z plus dot, right, with respect to modulus function is Euclidean domain. This is Euclidean domain. Okay. Now come to the theorem. What type of ideal? We know that what is z? Z is id. What is the ideal of this? Right? Since it is id, so it is ring also. What is integral? What is ideal? Its ideal is something like 2z, 3z, something like this. Okay. Now, what type of ideal exists in Euclidean domain in general? Not talking about z or any particular example. What type of ideal Euclidean domain have? So let us see this theorem. If R is Euclidean domain, A be an ideal of R. What is A? A is any ideal of R. Then A not belong to capital A equal to this thing. Okay, A equal to this thing. It means every ideal A of Euclidean domain, every ideal A of Euclidean domain, A is generated by A naught. What is that? Every ideal A of Euclidean domain, we are talking about Euclidean domain, it is generated by A naught. Okay, so let us see. If A equal to 0, right? Let us see. A is equal to 0. Then obviously it is generated by 0, right? So this is the trivial thing. Now come to the point where ideal does not equal to 0. If ideal does not equal to 0, then A containing many elements, say A is equal to A1, A2, data so on, AN, data so on. Consider the D of all these, DA1, DA2, data so on, DAN. If we apply the Bell ordering principle on this, then there exists one element in A, say A naught, such that dA naught is minimal. What is dA naught? Remember that dA naught is minimal element. Okay, means the smallest element among them is dA naught. Okay, so if A does not equal to 0, then there exists at least one A does not equal to 0, A belongs to capital A, and among these A, small a's, right, there exists A naught such that dA naught is minimal, and this exists by the Bell ordering principle. Okay. Now, see, we have to prove this one. Every ideal is generated. Now, we are claiming that every ideal A is generated by A naught. What is this? this is nothing but A naught x, x belong to R. Okay. How we will prove it? We know that two sets are equal if and only if A is subset of B and B is subset of A. Okay. So follow this. A is generated by A naught. Okay. Then for any A, any non-zero A, what is A? A belongs to capital A and A does not equal to 0. Then a Euclid result, A is equal to A naught into T plus R. What is R? 0 is less than, R is less than, right? 0 is less than, R is less than A naught. Okay. Either you say this thing, R 0 is less than or equal to dr is less than dA naught. Okay. Since we are talking about ED, right? What is capital R? Capital R is ED, and what is A? A is the idle of. No? What is A? If A is idle of R, means every element of A is also in R, right? So this R satisfy the definition of the condition of Euclidean domain. Okay. So R equal to 0 or R is less than A naught. Now see, if R does not equal to 0, what happens? R does not equal to 0, then A minus dA naught is equal to R. Yes. What is A? A belongs to capital A. What is A naught? Right? What is A naught? A naught belongs to capital A. This also belongs to A. The difference of these two elements also belong to A. So R belongs to A. If R belongs to A, then what is dr? Dr is less than dA naught. Right? This is the contradiction. Why? Since we already claimed that dA naught is minimal. Right? If R belongs to A, then this dA naught is not minimal. So R must be 0. Right? If R equal to 0, then A equal to T into A naught or A naught into T. Okay? It means this A is generated by A naught. So what is A? A is arbitrary element of capital A. So every element of capital A is generated by A naught. Okay? It means A is the subset of this one. Right? Similarly, A naught x, x belong to R is the subset of A. Why? Since A naught belongs to capital A, so x A naught is also belong to capital A by definition of idle. Right? So this is the subset of A. Now combining these two conditions, A is equal to this one. So every idle of Euclidean domain is generated by some element A naught.